Here on the next episode of Tactical Ghost Brothers, I'm here with my two younger brothers, and we're going to be investigating the Stonewall Jackson Cemetery in Lexington, Virginia. Well, we're headed down the road to Lexington, Virginia to hit our next ghost investigation destination. We traveled about 2 hours and we rented a house that was actually built in 1880. It's called the Dr. Seuss House, and the Stonewall Jackson Cemetery is actually right down the street. So tomorrow we're going to be investigating it. After Stonewall Jackson was shot in Fredericksburg, his body was shipped back to VMI, Virginia Military Institute. He was actually a professor there at the college. They put his body in there for a couple days, and to this day the students still say that they can see him walking around. As you can see here, they still have his raincoat he was wearing when he got shot. You can see the bullet hole in his arm. They actually amputated it, and he died about a week later from pneumonia. Here you have the cap he wore. He supposedly wore it low and over his eyes.
Stonewall Jackson was buried less than a mile from VMI with 144 other Confederate soldiers.
Alright, tomorrow we're going to be starting our daytime investigation of the Stonewall Jackson gravesite. Now, essentially what we're going to be doing in the daytime is trying to figure out what all we can accomplish there. Is there any restrictions there as far as nighttime? Is there a curfew? Some of the things we will be using, as you guys see in my last videos, we have my thermal camera. Basically just hooks into my phone and makes my phone screen a thermal camera. It's called the Flare One. The reason I like using thermal cameras is because any kind of spirits or ghosts, historically speaking, give off some sort of a temperature change. So it should be pretty easy to track them if they're around us. The next thing we will be using is the ghost box with a speaker. Now with this ghost box, it comes with an antenna. However, I opened up the whole ghost box and I removed the antenna, so that way I'm not picking up other radio stations. This is an urban area, so there will be radio stations around here, but luckily the antenna's gone, so I should be picking up as much interference. And as usual, I'm going to be using my EMF recorder, which will basically tell us how much electricity is in the area. Now, what we will be doing during this investigation with the cemetery is we're going to have to look around, look to see how many light poles there are, how many lights there are, and we got to make sure that the electricity in the air is consistent.
Alright, so what kind of complications can we expect with this ghost box?
The only complications that we can expect with this, since I pulled the antenna out, when I still had the antenna in and I tried to use it before, then I got a lot of radio stations, I got a lot of words in there. But the last time I used this, I took the antenna out, I wasn't getting those words. So, in a place like this, with no antenna, I'm really not expecting a whole lot. Alright, I'm here with my brother at the Stonewall Jackson Cemetery. We're going to move inside and see if we can find where he was buried. Alright, right behind me is Stonewall Jackson's burial. His whole family is actually buried here as well, and they still have a Confederate flag by his grave. Now the unfortunate thing about this is the fence does go all the way around the grave, so I can't actually go sit on it. And I wanted to investigate this place at night, but this place closes at dusk. But I'm going to get the ghost box going and see if we catch anything. Spirits here that would like to communicate with me.
Although I didn't get anything on my ghost box, an interesting fact about this site is they still throw lemons around his gravesite because apparently back in the war, he used to love to suck on lemons.
Is there anything you would like to say to me? Please speak into the speaker.
After I gave it a try, my brother even tried to contact the Jackson family while I was using my thermal camera. Unfortunately, it didn't work. Are there any spirits here with us?
Is there anybody here that fought in the Civil War? The war between the North and the South? Did you fight in that war?
Now, unfortunately, I didn't get anything on my ghost box, but what I got next was an orange and blue orb that flew across the screen. You could see it right there. Here, watch it again. Alright, Stonewall Jackson is buried here with over 144 other Confederate soldiers that probably all died in the Civil War. So I'm going to try to make some communication with them as well using my ghost box. I'll be walking down here, see if I can get any answers. Now, I'd like to say anything. Please speak into the speakers. What was your name? What I got directly after this seemed like a woman speaking. Unfortunately, my camera didn't pick it up. You can hear the wind picked up as soon as I heard her speak. Unfortunately, it was very faint, and I wasn't using my camera with my microphone, so I didn't pick up the sound. Here, watch again. Me and my brother both clearly heard it, but it was very faint. Did you hear that?
I heard that. Yeah, I definitely heard that.
So something interesting happened over there. After I heard the woman's voice on my ghost box, it seemed like it almost sucked the battery out of it not too long after, and I charged it the night before and I barely used it. But now it's really quiet, and that usually happens when the battery's drained. So whatever spoke through that, I think sucked all the energy out of my ghost box.
This grave was interesting. It was above ground and he had coins on the grave. I even tried to communicate by asking if I could have one of his coins.
This is a Mexican dollar. Can I keep this Mexican dollar for myself?
Unfortunately, this session also had no results for me.
Is it okay if I keep this one coin? If
I
anybody's
concluded
here,
my investigation
graveyard
right
with me,
across from the
can you please
Jackson
come sit next
family's
to me
grave.
and use this
Unfortunately,
speaker to talk to me?
I still got no communication.
What is your name? Well, after concluding the Stonewall Jackson Cemetery investigation, any evidence I found, there was the one video, or one portion, where I heard a woman speak. Unfortunately, I wasn't using my camera with my microphone, and the wind happened to blow at the same time, so I didn't pick it up at all on camera. Which is really unfortunate. Me and my brother both heard it. You couldn't make out what she was saying at all. It just sounded like, it was weird. It was like it stopped and somebody said a sentence, but it was like a mumbled sentence. I could just tell that it was a female that spoke to me. And right after that is when my speaker seemed to have died. Luckily I had an extra one, so I could have kept on going, but I thought that was really strange. It was like the energy from my speaker just all of a sudden was sucked away. and I barely used it at that point. And then there was the one thermal portion I got where you could see the orange and the blue. It almost seemed like it skipped across the screen. I thought that was interesting. Maybe it was a spirit, maybe it was an orb or something. I don't know, I can't confirm. But other than that, I really didn't feel a whole lot of presence at the Stonewall Jackson site. I didn't get to spend a whole lot of time there, and it was kind of hard because the place closes at dark, unfortunately. I really wanted to go back. It's really not gated off, so I could have gone back, but I also didn't want to get arrested, so there's that. But yeah, there's a lot of people walking around in there, so it kind of gets kind of awkward trying to contact the dead when somebody's standing right next to you, right out of camera sight. So that got a little bit rough. I don't think spirits like people. I know when I investigated the Dr. Seuss house, I got the most reactions when I was by myself, which I really don't like being by myself because you don't know what's going to happen. But as far as the Stonewall Jackson site, I thought it was super interesting to go there, and it was really a good experience, and I'm glad I got to do it. But I can't say it's haunted at this time. But thank you guys for watching, and please subscribe.